After this video, you won't have to ignore your current reality anymore. No, you don't have to detach from your desire. No, you don't have to let it go or give up on your manifestation. And no, you don't have to detach from your emotions and not care. All of these things are just coping mechanisms or temporary bandage to the fact that you are so triggered and not in control at all, nor living from the end of your desire. And it's a sign that you still have a lot of things to work on, and by ignoring them, you are just delaying them and not solving them at all, and they will still reappear. If you would be truly sure on who you are and on already having your desire, then your current reality could be complete shit and you will not give a fuck because you know that you already have your desire. Nothing would matter anymore. So instead of ignoring it, then you should look at what is triggering you and why. Your 3D reality is just a mirror, a reflection of you, and it's not like a physical mirror, like you can ignore it and not look at it at all. But with life, the mirror is like following you everywhere. You cannot ignore it, and it's good because the mirror is showing you who you are, and by ignoring it, you would not know on what you need to work on. Plus, the fact that you can become passive and more resilient to the unwanted circumstances, and you can endure them even longer without changing anything. But instead, why can't you just laugh at your 3D reality? Why can't you see it as a movie at a cinema or as your favorite TV show where your favorite characters are getting into shitty circumstances again, like in every episode, and just laugh at it? Because you know that by the end of the episode of movie, everything will work out fine. You don't have to ignore it if you don't believe that it is final and definitive, because it is not true. Only you decide if it is like this. Only you decide that it cannot change. And you keep forgetting that you have created it. Why get angry or triggered when you know that you have caused the shit? You stay detached by looking it in the eyes, facing the truth and what you need to change in order to not recreate it. It's like you would have a computer program that you have coded and then it gets a bug because you have not done it properly. So instead of getting mad and ignoring it, then you go and check in the back end to fix it so that it can run properly or how you want it to run. You remain detached by understanding that you have created it, and not wanting to change it is just a choice. You are choosing to get triggered, to believe it as definitive and not change it, and to keep it there and keep recreating it. You have to understand that the mirror is a reflection of the past. It is not always up to date. Like in the example with the bug in the program, it appeared due to an incorrect code which was coded in the past. What you see is the effect of a past version of you. I know it's very easy to forget this and just fall back into believing and reacting to it, but it really doesn't make sense when on the inside you are creating already the future. By believing and reacting to it, you are just recoding it with the old stuff. However, if you remain grounded in the new version of you, then you will create something different. Every time in my life something happens that I don't want, I am already thinking from the perspective that this situation was generated due to how I was thinking in the past. So instead, I just look to see what I still need to improve on myself, or as a check if I still resonate with it. So instead, I am already living in my mind in the reality that I am creating now. Why do you need to wait for outside validation to take an internal decision? You don't create the future with the past, but with the present moment, and from within, not with the outside. The outside reality is created first on the inside, and then it is being reflected outwards. If you let yourself wait for outside validation, then you will remain the victim of your circumstances of the past, which will keep recreating. If you keep looking for validation on the inside, that is basically where you see the future. Because indeed there is a 3D lag until it starts to reflect. If you look externally, then you will interfere in this 3D lag because you will perceive it as definitive and you will believe it as solid confirmation of your reality. And you will basically believe this middle as your final while your manifestation was still in the 3D lag. And maybe it would have not been so long until breakthrough, but now it will be delayed because you took as confirmation and real still a reflection of the past. There are certain moments that start to trigger me when things are going in a different direction, but I just remember and keep telling myself that it is just a reflection of the past and that it will change while I keep focusing on who I know I am on the inside. This helps me to detach, especially after I started to put work into a new identity and then I still see patterns of the past. And the most effective way in which you can detach is by living in the end. I know, like, this is the whole purpose of detaching, to be able to live in the end, but let me explain. The moment that you have decided what your desired outcome will be, that is the moment when the creation is finished. This reality already exists. And if you think from the perspective of the outcome, then you are automatically detached from your current reality. Everything that comes before that is just temporary or is just the bridge of incidents. For example, if you are stressed over the deadline of a project, by being stressed, you are already living in the end from the scenario where that project is very stressful on the last minute, or even worse, maybe failing meeting the deadline. But instead, if you know as truth that the desired outcome of this project is successful, then it really doesn't make sense to be stressed when you know that everything will go great. The stress is literally imaginary and temporary. So instead, you can be calm and deal with all the challenges that are coming your way as if they have already been solved in due time. Basically, you can detach when you understand that it is just the middle and not the end. If it is not the end you want, then it is not the end. It is just the middle and it can change. Only you decide if it's the end or not. And even though it is the middle and temporary, and yes, you will get your manifestation, it doesn't mean that you must ignore this middle, because all these circumstances are happening for a reason, because they are your reflection. You need this feedback in order to understand on what you still need to work on. Except the key difference is the perspective from which you perceive this feedback. If you don't react or don't believe it as truth or final confirmation, then you are detached and you can take this feedback as KPI of what is happening with you internally and how grounded you are on this new version of you, and also as an indication of what you still need to change in yourself in order to arrive where you want to be. It's like you in your city, you would have your favorite route for getting to your desired destination, let's say by walking, and it is fast and efficient and you don't want to change it. Maybe on that route there is also a nice coffee shop from where you like to get your treat. But then one day, walking on this path, at one point you get stuck because there is a new construction site for a new building which is blocking the entire way. And now you have to change your route and look for other ways in order to get to your desired destination. Of course that you will not get mad or give up and go home or just stay stuck there in front of the construction site until the new building will be finished. Instead, you will look on the map to see in what other ways you can still get to your destination. And then who knows, maybe on this new path you will find even sunshine, or maybe a new coffee shop even cooler. This is how you should see your unwanted circumstances as well. They are just an indication of something that you need to change on the inside to continue to your desire. Every time you get triggered by something, just remember this example with the street, because you always have a choice to make on what to manifest. Are you going to get upset and give up on your manifestation and go home? Or are you going to stay stuck there, dwelling in your unwanted circumstances until they will remove themselves from your reality by themselves? Meaning waiting for your 3D to change on the outside instead of making an internal change? Or are you gonna take this as an indication that there is a better path for you to take? Oh, there is this blockage? Then thank you for showing me what I need to change in myself so that I can get even closer to my manifestation. And yes, I'm gonna enjoy the sunshine and ice cream on the way as well. Thank you. Getting triggered by what you don't want and the old story is a KPI in itself, showing you that there is still work to be done. But here is the catch, because even though the mirror is showing you feedback, you should not take it as evidence if you will get your desire or not. But even though it can show the opposite of what we want, if we don't get triggered by it naturally, and we can effortlessly sustain our internal state that is in alignment with our desire, then that is feedback that we are doing well. However, if we are getting triggered, then that is feedback that we are not living in the end. So instead, we need this external not to show us evidence of our manifestation and if it will come true or not, but to show us evidence of how we are being internally. And if we are detached and are getting triggered, then it is a good sign. And this is how you stay detached, by seeing these circumstances as simple feedback of our internal state, and if we are being strong in our new identity or not. But please, because I'm saying this, it doesn't mean that now you can check the 3D every single minute to see how you are doing. Because if you need to do this, then it's clear that you don't believe it, you are not living from the end, and the mirror will reflect exactly that. But this is more for when life just happens and things are not going your way and you have to deal with them, and then you can apply this. And if we get triggered, it's alright, because it is showing us exactly the assumption behind it and why it has occurred and what we need to change. Getting triggered is not an issue as long as you don't believe it as truth and fall back into the old state. You are detached and strong on your desired outcome if you see it just as a temporary reaction that holds a piece of information to get you closer to your desire. And I have to mention that no, I'm not full of shit. Like, I'm not always able to be this detached. Like, sometimes I get really triggered even for days. However, I'm not just complaining and feeling like a victim. Like, what I'm going through it, I'm investigating the shit out of it. Because if it triggers me so much, then it's a clear sign that there is a lot to work more in that area, and I also don't want it to happen anymore. So I need to understand where is it coming from and what I need to change in myself. And I do this until I find out what I needed to know in that moment, until it clears out, and then I can become detached again. If I would be just ignoring this, it's like I'm sweeping shit under the rug and never cleaning it up, and keep ignoring it until one day I would be tripping over it like, oh shit, you're still here. And this is my trick to allow myself to go through the emotions while staying detached and knowing that, it doesn't fuck up my manifestation. Because I just need to go through this to solve it and to rather help me achieve my desired outcome. And it is also more comfortable to be able to feel the pain without ruining everything, because it is just temporary. And this is how you detach, not by numbing yourself, but by seeing things from the bigger picture and of you as the creator of your reality and not just an actor, but as the director. And you can change the script even though you let yourself play in the emotions of the main character role. It is a mindset switch in itself by not allowing the triggering to fuck up your manifestation if you don't let it to. And if you believe that everything is happening for you to get your desire. When you truly apply this, you will be living in the flow of life every day, because everything is happening for you to get your desire. Nothing is an obstacle anymore because you don't perceive it that way. And sometimes we just have bad days. And I know that when we become negative, we tend to believe that this is the end, like there is no way for things to get better now. But this is really not true, because things always work out, things are always changing. And a bad day does not f up your manifestation if you don't let it to. Only you decide if it does. Like, it is enough that you are having a bad day. Don't overextend it. Just let it be, as it is temporary, and it also has its own purpose, even if you don't see it now. Rather look on what you can learn from it instead. Sometimes bad days are good just for eliminating some of the resistance or importance on a desire, which again is good for your manifestation. You decide how things actually are, but just remember that they are happening for you. I am Annalise, and I am passionate about becoming the best version of ourselves and living our dream life because it's already ours. Thank you so much for watching and stay till the end, and I'm sure that you will love this next video as well. Love you, bye!